Hello again. Here's our math review. This is what I posted yesterday for you to look at in terms of your ruler. So my ruler only has 12 inches on it. And if you remember from our work in the first part of the school year, we discovered that 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. And we imagined that a pharaoh's foot might be the original foot, and it measured about this length. And when we measured on our main lesson book, it was actually the length of a true foot, the way we measure it now. So 12 inches is 1 foot. Now, some rulers have a different number of little lines between each inch. This ruler has 16. And I asked, does your ruler have more or less little lines than mine? And if it has more, what do those numbers have in common? If it has the same, then the thing they have in common is that they're both 16. But if it has less, they might also have something in common, those numbers. So it just depends on the measurement of your ruler. Now you might notice that as you're measuring things, which is what I'm going to ask you to do today, is to measure things around the house. So, for instance, I found this spool of thread. I'm going to set it here against my ruler and measure it. Now, the light is a little bad here, but if we put it below the lines, we can see that this spool of thread is more than an inch. It's an inch and looks like to me 1, 2, 3 of those little lines. Now, if I was going to write down that I discovered my spool of thread, here it is, I'm going to draw it now very quickly. Here's my little spool of thread. My spool of thread is 1 inch and 3 little lines. Just like your thumb, when you measured your thumb in the last assignment from a little bit ago, when you measured your thumb against the ruler, the tip of my thumb is less than an inch. But if I put my whole thumb on the ruler, then it is almost exactly an inch. So that's why when we talked about using body parts, we said that the human thumb was one of them because it almost measures an inch. Now, when you're measuring your thumb, it probably was less than an inch. So how many of those little lines did your thumb cover? Some of you might have discovered that the end of your thumb covered about half. And you can see there's this bigger line here on my ruler that sticks down a little bit further than the other lines, and it's measuring halfway between 0 inches and 1 inch. So when we write the number half, we write it as 1/2. So for me, when I measured my spool of thread and saw that it was 1 inch and 3 little lines, I knew that I was measuring out of all these total lines. All these total lines here, all of these lines added up to 16. When I counted, I went along and counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then when I got to 2 was 16. So 16 little lines from after 1 to 2 in order to get all the way to 2 inches. But only 3 of them after the inch did my spool measure. So I say that my spool of thread is 1 inch and 3 little lines out of 16. Another way to write that is like the half, which you've probably seen before. Instead of writing 3 little lines out of 16, I write 3 over 16. Now, if that's too complicated and it doesn't make any sense, that's okay, because this is something we do a lot of in 4th grade. But you could take a little gander at it for 3rd grade. While you go around your house and find some things to measure, maybe it's a spool of thread like I found, maybe it's something yummy like my, Virgil's vanilla cream soda. Boy, that's quite a measurement. Oh, let's start from the beginning here. And you're gonna measure all the way to, oh, look at that. It is almost exactly 9 inches. So I'm just gonna say that that's a 9-inch bottle. And now I'm gonna draw, here's my Virgil's. And then I'm gonna drink it. 9-inch Virgil's cream soda. So, and you could stop there. This is our math review. You can put it, you're going to put it in your composition book, and you can find some other things to measure if you are done with 2, or if you decide that you want to try some more and you're having fun, you can continue measuring just to practice writing the inch and then the little lines out of the inch. How many little lines out of the total number of lines on your ruler? Because remember, your ruler might be different than mine. You might not have 16 little lines between the 2 and the 3 and the 1 and the 2 and the 4 and the 5. Yours might be more. Most likely it's probably not less. Now, that is your math review. And now you can listen to the story and draw or free render from yesterday's story.